everyone, and welcome in our backyard.
You saw our living room earlier.
I mean, if you speak French, you saw our living room in a recent podcast, but now we're in the backyard and back in English. But also, yes, welcome to the Fever Talk podcast. David, what are we doing? Why? I mean, it's very rare that we do a video thing for a podcast, but we decided to try something new. Can you put us in context? What's going on?
Well, I mean, first, what's going on is apparently people like to look at people speaking on YouTube. So that's the first thing that's going on.
Feels a bit odd to film ourselves doing it, but
also there's people filming people watching videos of people filming themselves, and that's popular. So we figured, hey, we could try.
We figured that we would be open-minded and follow the progress.
Yeah,
so here we are.
You know, it's fun. So here we are, and we're today doing a tiny little overview of what's up. You know, why we're here, why we haven't been to events in a couple of weeks, months, but also what's coming up, because we've got some exciting things coming. We've got some fun projects. Especially one project coming up in exactly 1 week from now.
Yes. So, I mean, David said it. We've been quiet, but finally things are going better. So we're back preparing projects, preparing adventures. Why have we been so quiet this whole spring? I mean, I think I've talked about it maybe a little bit, but not that much. But turns out I'm getting old. So I've had an injury that had been bothering me in my back for over a year, but I was enduring it thinking like it was just maybe sore or just maybe, I didn't really know, so I was doing more strength and more treatments to try to get it to be comfortable enough to ride. But it turns out I did have something, and I had a procedure done in my back the last 2 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago now.
3 weeks ago. So now I'm finally feeling better. I'm finally back on the bike. We've been back riding for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
And it's going pretty well. So we can finally start thinking about doing races and doing projects again, which is exciting. Because for a while, to be honest, it was quite hard.
I mean, it's just like anything in life, momentum is something very important, and for a lot of time when you don't go to events, you don't do anything, you don't see the end of that tunnel, you just lose all your momentum. So I think that's what happened. But we embraced it. We stayed home, had a ton of fun, saw our family and friends, and really just try to make the best of it. Try to take this as an opportunity to reset instead of an excuse to suck later on, or an excuse to not be at events. We decided we're going to be, let's take a little break from everything, even from keeping you guys updated for a little while there. But now we're back, we're ready, we've got plans, and we're excited to share the first one coming up.
Yeah, and it was actually fun I said it was hard, and it was for a while, but once I've accepted that I had an injury, that I had to take care of it, and that we decided we would take some time off, it was actually quite nice. And I'm really glad we did it. I'm glad we tried to see it as an opportunity, as you just said. It was really refreshing. We don't usually have the opportunity to be at home for 2 months in the summer, so it was really fun to see family and all that. And I think later on, as much as it hurt my fitness, I think later on, as the season goes on, and maybe when we arrive like in the later fall or winter, I think it will have been beneficial to have this big reset. So hopefully. But now here we are. We have a first project. David, what's going on? Where are we going in 1 week?
Well, it's the first ever UCI Super Worlds, I think they call it. It's in and around Glasgow in Scotland. And for the first time in your career, you've been selected for some World Championships without any sort of results or event. They just give you the grandma selection. You're like,
yes,
we trust you. You've been selected. You've done shit for the past little while, but we trust you, grandma.
So thank you, Cycling Canada.
So you've been selected for E-Mountain Bike and Mountain Bike Marathon.
Yeah.
And so we're going. I mean, it's probably going to be the biggest happening gathering of the cycling world this year.
It's the first time in history this is happening. So all cycling disciplines except for gravel and cyclocross, so all cycling disciplines have their world championships in the same area over these 2 weeks. So it's really big. Like road's gonna be there, mountain biking, trial, track, everything.
Bike polo, downhill, literally everyone is gonna be there. And so every company as well. So for us, it's an opportunity to go see people and just to get back in the game, you know. But the truth is,
I'm not that fit. I'm not that fit.
Maybe she can surprise herself, but reality is we'll have about a month and a half of training by the time we get there.
I mean, not even.
In 3 weeks.
We'll have 3 weeks.
So not much, you know, not much. And we can't really expect anything. So that's a good thing. And it's also a bad thing. So it depends how you see it. For us, we will not be looking at performance much for these world championships. You know, of course, the e-bike race is a little bit more technical. It's more technical. Experience plays a bit more of a role. So maybe you have a better shot there. The marathon is 100K of trails, and we did our first 100K of road yesterday. And so
I think the marathon will be a big ask for me, but I'm excited for it. I decided to sign up for it. No one forced me, no one asked me, but I thought it would be a really cool opportunity to explore the Scotland trails and just have a big day of training out there. So I was excited about that. And I mean, it's kind of a shift in perspective for us, because normally the World Championships, when we have been selected to go there and we'd plan for this race, it's usually one of the races that we target in the year. That's where I want to show up and be at my fittest. This is, as we said, this is not happening this time. So we thought, okay, well, how can we make this still a memorable experience, even if we don't focus solely on performance?
Yeah, I mean, first we were going to go to the races and that's it, in and out. And then I was trying to book the flights to head over, and it was really complicated to get from Montreal to Glasgow. For whatever reason, to fly over to London, wait a full day, take a flight later the next day, and it got complicated, and I didn't want to lose the luggage and all that stuff. And so try to open my mind and look at airports that would be close to, that we could drive. And then I saw that Dublin airport was a couple 100 kilometers away from Glasgow. And
this got me very excited.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think last year when we did the trip in Iceland and we rode 1,000K in 4 days and kind of hotel to hotel every night and did this bikepacking race event, I think it opened our world of possibility in terms of what we can do with the bike. And so when I saw the Dublin airport was 500K away, I was like, well, we could turn this into a fun training, because the reality is you still need to train for cyclocross, you know, we can go to World Championship, but races, most of the time around races, we don't train that much because you focus on the racing. You always lose a couple days when you travel back and forth. And so I saw this opportunity and I suggested to you, I say, hey, what if we fly to Dublin and just ride the World Championships? You know, it's 500 something K, a ferry, could be fun. And
I got very, very excited. That was maybe a month ago. And since then, basically every free hour I had was spent on Komoot, looking at the map or reading about Ireland or reading about Scotland. So that's what we're doing.
Every left turn has been calculated and thought fully.
I mean, but that's a cool thing though. So it started out, so yes, this is the trip. So we're starting from the Dublin airport in Ireland, and then we're riding for 2 days in Ireland. So from Dublin to Belfast. From Belfast, we're taking a ferry across, and then we're riding in Scotland. So I forget the name of the town, but from where the ferry arrives all the way to the city of Edinburgh, which is the closest big city to the mountain bike world championship. So that's a trip. It's 4 days. It's more or less 100K every day, a little bit more. And I mean, it's been that, I mean, I was just about to say the Komoot thing. It's been so cool because first, I mean, it's public. So when I was trying to map the route, the first kind of sketch that I did, people can see it online. So if you're on Komoot, people can see it. So after a few days that I was working on it, some guy wrote to me. So he's a local, he lives in Ireland, and he's like, oh my god, I've been looking at your route, and actually I think you should take this route and this route along the coast. And it was just really cool and upgraded. I think it will make the experience so much more fun.
He recommended some coffees too, I think, and
He
like
did.
some restaurants and all that, which is the nice thing about globalization.
Totally. And that's
of
it.
bike
I mean,
riding.
Komoot is full of that too. Like everyone, I mean, most of our route actually is based on people's highlights. So like people have posted highlights about food to eat, or like some trails that are cool, or some gravel routes that are cool. And so most of it is based on that. And then of course I read like a bunch of other things, but I think like the biggest skeleton of the route is based on other people's highlights of it. So I'm excited. I mean, I think having spent so much time looking at it, and I made a guide that we sent to our friends.
You sent me the guide this morning. I was not aware of this guide, but it's a full-on 3-page. Like, here's the restaurant, and here's the thing, and here's this very special sculpture, and here's this and that. And so I think the preparation will make it a fun and interesting trip for sure.
Yeah. So I'm very excited about that, and yeah, I think for us it's a really cool way to blend everything that we love about cycling, which is there's the performance side of it in the racing format, so the e-mountain bike and the marathon, and maybe it won't be the biggest performance for me, but I see it as a way of getting back into a racing mindset. Like, these will be my first races since April, so it will be nice to like get back into this environment of performance, and I think that will help me in the preparation for cross afterwards. But also there's the adventure side, the exploration, the getting to discover a place, travel on the bike. So it's like it blends everything that I love about the sport. And I think like for me, like the adventure side feeds off my performance, and the performance I think feeds off, like they feed off each other, which is, I don't know, I'm excited.
Nice. Yeah, I think, on the performance side, I think it's going to be what it's going to be, It's not 5% when you're at 70% or 75%. That makes a big difference,
Mm-hmm.
I think we shoot for later, and that's just going to be a fun way to explore and be there and be part of it. And at the same time, as you said, adventure. We don't get to fulfill that adventure side of bike riding a lot, because a lot of our training is very structured, like Monday this, Tuesday that, Wednesday that. And so that was a perfect opportunity. And then 10 days ago, or a week ago actually, our friends Caitlin and Franz, who you've seen before on the podcast or in videos and stuff, we went out to Vermont and hang out with them for a couple of days. And driving down there, we're like, hey, we should invite these guys out of the blue, 7 days ahead of the trip starting, or 10 days ahead. And so they were like, yeah, let's do it. And so it turns out Franz was already in Europe for work. Doug was available. And so they're meeting us at the Dublin airport next Monday morning, and we're hitting the road all together. So I think this will be very fun. I'm looking forward to the week. I'm looking forward to Worlds too. There's a lot of people that we know that are going to be at Worlds, and some other younger athletes that I work with, that I coach, that are at Worlds too. So we'll have a busy schedule once we get there, I think. But it's all going to be fun. So, yeah.
Should we do a brief overview? I'll fire some question. Are we camping?
Oh, hell no, we're not camping. This guy is not sleeping on the floor. Shout out to Ru and Lael, who are very inspiring and sleeping on the floor most of the nights of the year. But I think we still want some performance at World. We still want to stay healthy. We still want to perform later in the year as well. We have big goals, so we want to be in comfortable environment. We're going hotels to hotels. We found some spot that had dinner and breakfast, and so we can be somewhat comfortable. And we don't have to carry a tent and sleeping bags and all that stuff. And I think it's raining a bit in that area, so we're not sleeping on the floor. Question
for me?
Oh yes, for you.
Yeah.
Go. You're ready.
I'm ready.
You're really ready. How are you bringing all your stuff?
Yes. So we'll go with our mountain bikes, because as I said, like, this is the bike I'm going to be racing for Marathon World. So we're making it easy. We'll be traveling. Normally we travel with our really cool Evoque bags, which make traveling with bikes easy. But this time we will be flying in and out from a different airport. So we're flying with our bikes in a cardboard box, and we'll have a simple setup. So a big seat pack and a front bag, a handlebar bag, and we're really just carrying with us what we need for those 4 days of bike packing. So, I mean, you'll have a full gear list that we'll share later in another video, but just like the necessary. And I mean, for us, like, as much as it's exciting and stuff, it's also work. So we're also bringing our computers in the handlebar bag. Yeah, so I mean, it kind of limits what we can bring. So what we did is there's other stuff that I need for racing mountain bike Marathon World. So I needed a Evoc hydro vest, I needed some race nutrition, I needed some other tires that, there's some equipment that we needed. So
we'll also be a week in Scotland, so we also needed like a pair of pants.
Yes. Yeah, maybe pants.
A sweatshirt, like something.
Just a few things, but mostly it was like race equipment stuff. So I mean, that's actually kind of a cool story, and I'll try to make it pretty brief. But I don't know, maybe 6-7 years ago at the Namur World Cup in Belgium, we got to meet a family. Back then, 2 young kids. They were 8 and 10, I think. Their name is Thomas and Milo. They were at the Christmas week in Belgium, like watching all the cyclocross races with their parents, and they met us because we were staying at the same hotel. And later that week, we gave them some passes so they could like come at the,
start finish come in the pits and stuff like. Just give us a hand and just provide a different experience for the kids as well.
Exactly. And after that, we just kept in touch with them. So this family was living in Washington, close to Seattle, and so we just kept in touch with them. They were emailing me as they grew up into cycling, and a few years ago, they moved to Scotland, and they moved actually in the exact town where the Mountain Bike World Championships are happening. Our Airbnb that we rented is actually 2 kilometers away from their house. So they offered that we could ship a bag of stuff to their house, which is really helping us. So last week we went and we shipped a bag full of tires and bottles and everything that we're going to need for the race.
We couldn't carry with us on the bike.
Yep.
It's in a duffel bag. It's been shipped by UPS
and it's arriving this week. So I mean, thanks to
hopefully arriving this week.
Yeah, hopefully. So thanks to the McIntosh family, this is making our trip so much easier. But I mean, I think that's a cool thing, a cool testament to racing. Like, you meet so many people that live all over the world, and it just creates like a special community. So we're pretty lucky to know them. So I guess like that's kind of our setup.
And then the last bit is the e-mountain bike is actually a unreleased e-mountain bike from Canyon, and that's Canyon's shipping it over the world directly also. So we have one here at our house that we can practice on, and then they're also bringing one for Mags at World Championships. So everything just makes it, everything kind of fell into place pretty easily and smoothly, and so we're hoping that all that goes to plan.
What are you most looking forward to?
I'm really looking forward to spending the days on the bike.
Yeah. Just
riding all day and not looking at the phone and just having concentrated moment of work. Like maybe you work an hour in the morning and then ride just all day. It's something I like from bike packing and just going to places. Otherwise, when we train here around, I tend to kind of work even throughout the workout sometimes. Like we'll stop at the coffee shop or we'll stop to like fill our bottles with water halfway into the ride, and I'll look at my phone and see if somebody texted or see if there's an emergency that I have to deal with over emails. But when we're riding 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day, I just don't look at the phone and do these concentrated bits like early in the morning and then after the day. And so I'm looking forward to getting lost in time, just riding all day and enjoying the ride for what it is.
I agree.
And I'm also looking forward a ton to spending time with Caitlin and Franz. I mean, we spend a ton of time together, so that's nothing new for us. But I really like these guys, and we always have pretty good conversations. So I think that's going to make it it's going to make it fun. What are you most excited about?
I mean, same. I think like those big days on the bike, and I mean, with Komoot too, like I've seen a lot of photos of the routes we're taking, so I'm excited to experience it and just experience the culture of Ireland and Scotland. They look like, I mean, it seems like really cool different culture than other parts of Europe that we've been to. So I'm excited for that. I think, just that's been fun for me, like learning about their history. I realized I knew nothing. I didn't even know that Ireland and Northern Ireland were two different countries. And I think like through traveling, you can learn things like that. So I'm excited about learning a bit about the history. And yeah, as you said, just riding all day. Like I think that's going to be super fun.
I'm excited for a change of weather too. It's been, I mean, some people argue climate change isn't real, but where we live, it used to be pretty mellow, and now it's like tropical weather in the summer. So it's been super warm and just super humid, and then these huge downpours and tornadoes and stuff like that. And it's been a warm and humid summer so far. And over there, it's like 15, 20 degrees Celsius. So like, high 60s and kind of more mellow-ish October style of weather, and I really appreciate that weather. I think riding in shorts with just a long sleeve is like my favorite type of riding, so I think that's what it's going to be. So I'm excited to I'm excited
to see the mountain bike marathon trails. I think I've heard the Scotland trails are really fun, so that would be cool. Excited about all of it. What else? Was there anything else we want to see?
I was excited about your grandma selection for
yes,
without any criteria met. That's good. And then there's also a big shift where for the first time I asked our federation, hey, can I have a pass or something so that we're not in your way? And then they actually asked me to help take care of the marathon, like help Haley and Leslie, which I think are the only ones doing it, which 5 or 10 years before it'd be like, no way, no husbands around, no staff that's not national team. And I think now we've kind of like, it took 10 years, but I think now we're at a point where
I also think that we talked about following progress and putting a camera in our face, but I think the federation is also following progress, and they see that there's a lot of privateer programs and privateer athletes, and
which can support themselves. They don't need a full-on staff from the national team and stuff. But anyway, I feel like it's just been a fun, easy integration, and so looks like you've been grandmothered and I've been grandfathered. So we've been having back issues, so we must be getting old.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see a lot of the people from the Cycling Canada too that we haven't seen for a while in mountain biking. So Catherine, and I think Haley's gonna do really well at the marathon, so it'll be cool to see her.
Give her your wheel if she flats, and if she's and you pass her, just give her your wheel. I think she's got a better shot at
it. She does. Yeah. I think that's it for now. So what we're going to do, our goal is to show this adventure to you all. So we're going to do a daily podcast like this, but also probably with Franz and Sea Dogs, and I really enjoy like asking questions to the local people that we see over there. So having some snippets and some little shots of where we're riding, and try to see you a little bit what we are exploring and discovering. So there will be like a daily coverage, short coverage, homemade coverage of all that. And yeah, if you have any questions, please let us know. We're also going to be doing like a gear list, and don't take our word for it until we've tried it, because we have zero experience. Like I keep asking myself, what would Lael do? But then it doesn't really answer my question, because she would go so minimal that I'm not hardcore enough to do. But we'll still share. We'll share our learning. We'll share our failures and what was good too. So if you have any questions, please let us know.
We'll keep it going through Worlds as well. So we'll do these after the events. On the days that we have off of events, we're going to go check out the women's junior road race, and we're going to go check out maybe some other events in between, see what's possible with the schedule. But we'll try to do these daily recaps, kind of like...
And if you have recommendation too, because the bigger cities that we're going in, like we're going from Dublin to a place called Newry on day 1, on day 2 from Newry to Belfast, then we'll take the ferry and ride to New Galloway through the Galloway Forest Park, and then all the way to Edinburgh. So if you know anything that we should do through that, please let us know. The route that we've mapped is already it's on Komoot, so I'll put the link here. So if you want to look at it and you say like, oh my God, like you're going through this place, that's awesome, you have to ride, please let us know. We'd be really happy to take your suggestion.
And at 100K a day average, we have time. So we'll be able to go see places, you know.
Yes, I mean, I've mapped some award-winning fish and chip shops and other
some
things
coffee
like
shops
that.
and stuff. I mean, we're bringing a light, but only one light for the four of us, and we're really hoping we don't need to use the light.
Yes.
So we plan on having time to stop and really kind of share our adventure and share what we discover over there with all of you guys.
I think that's it.
That's it.
Thank you, and see you from Dublin next time.
Yeah, or from the gear packing list.
Maybe gear packing list. See you again from the backyard and then from Dublin.